moving on to the process of the rig of the character, I just need to prepare a few things before I do the actual binding of the character. So I'm going to make sure that my shoulders are connected to the main body, and I'm going to create a couple of connections, controllers for my clavicles. So the clavicles don't have any controllers yet, so I'm going to just create a new controllers for that. I'm just going to create a circle there, grab it, I'm going to snap it to that joint right there, so that you can scale it up and modify it and place it the way you want it, pivoting on its location. I just change the make sure I don't select the geometry or the joints, and just try to do one more time. Modify the shape of it the best you can, so that it's a little bit easier for you to select right there. We can just try to do that. I'm gonna grab that one too, move them out a little bit, maybe bring them in a little. Anyways, anything that makes sense to you in terms of shape. I'll just keep it like that just for now. And I'm going to name this object. I'm gonna call it the clavicle control. Make sure you freeze transformations, and the pivot point, make sure that it's still on the joint. And I'm going to constrain the actually I should rename it left clavicle, left underscore clavicle. And then we're going to create constraints from the joint to the joint, from the curve to the joint. Let me select my object. Oh, it's showing me some guys right there. There you go. I'll select that and select the clavicle joint. I'm going to create a constraint. This will be a parent constraint. The parent constraint is going to be on rotation and translation in this case, and maintain also just in case. I'm going to apply that one, so that that object, if I need to, I can move, or I can rotate the arm, the shoulder. Now I'm going to just go and duplicate the object to the other side. But before I do that, let me create a group over it for it. I'm going to call it the left underscore clavicle underscore control group, and I'm going to make sure that is the center pivot point for that group. Snap the pivot point actually on that same location of the curve itself. So I have it right here, and I'm going to now grab a group. I'm going to duplicate it so that I can mirror it to the other side. So I'm just gonna say edit duplicate special. I'm gonna duplicate special. I'll make a copy of it, but I'm gonna scale it in X negative. I'm gonna just apply. That way it just gets flipped, and now that one I'm going to just snap it to the second, to the right clavicle. Make sure that this one is clavicle, also the joint or the curve is also snapping, or the pivot point is on the actual joint. And of course I need to rename this one. This is going to be just the right clavicle control, and the group of course we get the same name, right clavicle control group. Alright, that way I got my two controls, and this one I just need to now generate from the curve to the joint the same constraint that I did before. So constraint, parent constraint, and then just apply that and just close that. Now, now that I have both created, I just need to make sure those controllers, those groups better, the left control group becomes a child of the box. Let's press P on that, and again the group for the shoulder, let me find a group, the group for the left shoulder is going to become a child of the left clavicle. Let me just go and find it. I probably did it backwards, so I'm going to should have done it differently, but I'm just going to grab the clavicle here. So I'm going to just again grab the group for this guy, become a child of the clavicle, press P. So again this guy becomes the parent of that guy, and at the same time this guy was the child of that one. So when you select this one, all of them get selected. Let me do it properly here on this other side, so in case you got confused. So I'm just going to select the group of this guy, which is that one. I'm going to make it the child of the clavicle curve, press P. Then I select the group of the clavicle curve, and I make it a child of the box curve, press P. That way when I select the curve, all of the FK controllers get selected. So I can now move my object and the arms will follow. Let's see, that's it so far, and we are going to leave it as that for now in terms of those connections there. The next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to connect the neck to the joint. So we haven't done that so far, and we are going to make the connection from the initial neck joint system that we created, and we're going to connect it to that collar joint. Make sure you connect it to the collar joint, not to the FK joint for the shoulder or the last one. So I'm just going to go and open up my whole chain of joints there so that I can find the right joint. So again, I'm going to go and look for the neck. This one has a naming that is too long. Just find it right there. This is the neck joint. My name is all messed up because I had to open up my file again from a different version, but my neck joint, which was the second joint that I created in my neck chain, you see that they have the spine connect and I have the neck joint. So the neck joint, I'm going to connect it to the collar joint, and the collar joint is the last one of the whole spine. I'm going to just press P. So now the neck became the whole thing became connected to the whole ring, and of course I'm left over now with the spine connect joint that I'm going to get rid of in a little bit. So I'm going to before I do that, I'm going to need to lose the binding of this geometry so that the joint is not left by itself there. So I'm going to stop this here. I'm going to do that in the next video, okay? So we can start working on the next video for finishing up my binding of my character. Let me increment and save this.